All right, hello. In this video, we're going to be going over some like volume and area, maybe a little perimeter questions related to the ACT test. And you can see there's a lot of different like 2D shapes and 3D shapes where you might have to find like the volume, surface area, perimeter, all those type of things. And it's a lot of formulas, right? So I don't expect to be able to cover all this in the video or really that you have to know all of this. Um, a lot of the questions they'll give you relevant formulas on the ACT, which is kind of nice. Not all the time, right? Like one you kind of got to know is like Pythagorean theorem, right? I don't think they usually give that to you, but a lot of them like this volume formula or something, I think they usually give them to you right in the question. So I don't know, it's kind of a mix. Some of them we have to remember, some they might give you the formula right in there. But I'm just going to dive in and do some questions with you. I would definitely encourage you to have a calculator out and try a lot of these questions before watching my answers. Okay, so we're gonna do one right here. And honestly, I would just pause it, try the question, and then come back and check with my answer. I do that for pretty much all of these. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to try this. A couple things is they have the dimensions in inches, even though 1 inch represents 1.5 feet. So we don't really have to worry about that 1.5 in this first one because it says what is the area in square inches. Okay, and there's a few different ways to do this, right? I think this whole thing, the area of the park is just a trapezoid. All right, so with an area of a trapezoid, it's 1/2 times the base. I think it's base 1 plus base 2. I kind of hardly remember this times height, right? But please know that you don't necessarily have to memorize that formula, right? An alternate route would be, this is actually probably the way I would do it, is I would make this whole thing a rectangle, okay? And then just subtract off this triangle region. Okay, so that's probably how I would do this honestly, because the area of the rectangle would be 40 by 16. So I could just take 40 times 16, 640 square inches. Okay, and then I'm just going to minus this triangle. So this triangle has dimension of 16, same as over here. And then the other side here would be 40 minus 28, or 12. Okay, so the area of that triangle, you multiply those two together and then divide it by 2. So that triangle would be 16 times 2, sorry, 16 times 12 divided by 2, which I think would be 96 square inches. Okay, and then I just got to subtract those. So the park itself, if I minus those two numbers, right, do the whole thing and then minus off the 96, I think that should get us this 544 square inches as the area. All right, so let's go through a couple more on this same picture. So now we want to install a fence on the perimeter, right? So that's kind of what perimeter is if you go all the way around the outside, right? So what would be the perimeter in feet? So we're going to have to do this conversion here. We're going to have to convert the inches into feet. And kind of one of the tricky parts is we have 3 of the sides, but we don't have this side. Okay, so like one trick I was thinking about when I was doing this, if you had no clue, you could just kind of guesstimate, right? So actually, I think when I guesstimated, I got the right answer. I don't know, we'll do the math here in a second, but maybe try it first again on your own before watching my solution. Okay, so basically, if we do the guesstimate approach, it's got to be more than 16 because it's slanted, right? So if I just guess 20, that's literally what I guessed when I tried this. So now my perimeter would be 20 inches plus 28 plus 16 plus 40. So that would be 104, I think, what that comes out to be. And then if you just take that times 1.5 feet per inch, I think that gets you this 156 number. So that's purely based just on like a guess, right? Based on what the other dimensions are, I'm going to guess that's 20. If we actually want to do the math to confirm this is right, I don't actually know if that's the right answer. That was just my gut guess answer. If you actually want to find, we've got to find this side here. I'll put an X there. And you can do this with the Pythagorean theorem, right? If I draw this down here, draw a right angle, I know that that is 16 right there, matches over here. And then this part down here would be, again, I think 40 minus 28, then that'd be 12. So now I could just do my Pythagorean theorem to find x. So I could do 12 squared plus 16 squared equals a hypotenuse squared x. So it'd be 144 plus 256 equals x squared. 400 equals x squared. And then take the square root of both sides and you get 20. Okay, so that's exactly what I got when I guesstimated. So looks like the math works out okay. And then, like we said, add them all up times by 1.5 and you get 156. Yeah, but I think that was a good one of like, if you couldn't remember the Pythagorean theorem, take your best guess, and like all these other answers aren't even close to right. So, guessing will get you in the right ballpark, and then that should be hopefully good enough for you. Okay, one more kind of a different question here. I've always got to read and interpret it. So it says the length of the south side of the park, so that would be down here, that'd be south, is what percent of the length of the north? Okay, so you can see it's over 100% because it's longer here. So pause the video and see if you can make sense of this. Okay, and so I think all you got to do is divide them. What the length of the south side is what percent of the north side? Just do 40 divided by 28, right? And then match it up from there. So 40 divided by 28. Okay, so that would be like 143% roughly. So the one that looks like it's probably that one right there would be the right answer. Okay, another kind of house drawing one. This one had some more directions and stuff, but I think what it's really trying to do, I want to read it one more time here and make sure. What would be the area in square feet of the top surface of the walkway? So this walkway around the outside, what would be the area of that in square feet? All right, and so the strategy I would use here would be, I mean, you could try to divide this up into like little rectangles and find the area of each little rectangle, but I think that's going to be pretty tricky. So what I would do is just do the area of the whole rectangle, imagining that it was like filled in, and then just punch out the inside rectangle, right? So I'll find the two areas and then just subtract. So the outside one would just be 36 feet times 30 feet, right? 1,080. And then to figure out the area of the inner rectangle, it's a little bit goofy. It's a 3-foot wide walkway, so we got 3 and 3 here. So the whole thing down here is 30, but then I got a minus 3 and another 3, so that would make it 24 feet down there. Okay, and then similarly, this whole thing, oh, they gave it to me right there, actually. Never mind, look at that. Okay, and so this one too would be 30, which you could get by doing 36 minus 3 minus 3. So that gets us this inside dimension here. I guess they got it labeled right on the picture for us. So anyways, that inside area then would just be 30 times 24, right? So we're going to punch that out, right? We imagined it all filled in. That's this number, but now we're going to punch out that middle part. Okay, which gives us 720. And so now just subtract those. And I think it looks like it'd be 360 would be the area of that gray walkway right there. Okay, this one I just recommend drawing a picture on. This one too, I honestly don't like this question because I had to look this up because I forget this stuff. But if you forget 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Okay, so that'll be needed to do this question because it asks for it in square yards. Okay, hopefully I've had a chance to try it. So I'm going to just draw ourselves a picture, even though it's not a great rectangle, but it's 15 by 21, so it's also looking not proportional. But that's in feet, okay? So those are in feet. And so if 1 yard is 3 feet, then if I just divide these by 3, I'll get my answer in yards. So this one would then be 5 yards, okay? And then if we divide this by 3, that would be 7 yards. Okay, so now to get the area in square yards, you just do yards times yards, and I think this would just be 35 square yards would be the area of that rectangle. All right, pause the video, try to make sense of this one, and then you can watch my solution. All right, so I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit on just this part right here, right? That's this thickness, which we know overall is 0.32 centimeters thick. Okay, and so it's made up of a bunch of little layers. Right, so that's my attempt to add some layers, even though it doesn't look great. But we know that the bottom and top layers are both 0.2 centimeters thick. No, 0.3 centimeters thick for the top and bottom. Okay, and then each one of these ones on the inside there, they're all 0.2. Okay, so it says how many inner layers are there? Okay, so sort of the idea is if we add up these top and bottom, that's 0.6. Okay, plus 0.2 for each inner layer. So the number of inner layers I'm just going to write as x since we don't know what that is. So the two top and bottom plus the inner layers has to equal 0.32. Okay, now this becomes an equation we can solve, and I realize now that I missed some zeros. This should have been another 0 in there and another 0 in there. So I'll change that quick. Okay, so now it's 300ths and 300ths and then 200ths in the middle layer. So 300ths and 300ths make 600ths. So now I just got to solve this for x. So I'm going to take away the top and bottom layers, which are 600ths. So now I have 200ths x equals, so minus that, that would be 26, I think. I did that right. And now just divide it by 0.02. Okay, and I think we would get 13 layers would be the right answer there. Divide 2600ths by 200ths, you will get 13. So there'd be 13 of these 200ths layers in between the top and bottom layer. All right, again, pause the video, try to make sense. Thankfully, they gave us the formula here, actually, and they gave us a picture to start with. So go ahead and pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, so we're going to double all the dimensions, and then what would happen with surface area? Okay, so what I would recommend on this one is just picking some easy dimensions. So I'm going to do like a height of 3, a width of 1, and then a length of, width of 2 and a length of 1. Okay, so that surface area for this particular box, the smaller one, right, would be, it'd be 6 on this front face and 6 on the back. So that would be 12. And then the two sides here and here would be 1 by 3, so it'd be 3 and 3. Sorry for the bad handwriting there, but that would be 6. And then I haven't done the top and bottom yet, so the bottom would be 2 by 1, which would be 2, and the top would be the same thing. So 2 plus 2, 4. Okay, so my current surface area would be something like 22. Okay, so now all I got to do is imagine it twice as big and then find the surface area of that. Okay, so I doubled all the dimensions, and now I'm going to find the surface area of this. I'm going to start with the front and back again, which would be 6 times 4, so it would be 24 and 24. So it'd be 48. And then we'll do the two sides. So the sides would be 6 by 2, so there'd be 12 and 12 on the two sides. So that'd be 24. And then top and bottom would be 4 by 2, so it'd be 8 and 8. It'd be 16. Okay, and if you add all that surface area up, that would be 88. Okay, so we can see that when we doubled the dimensions, the surface area got 4 times as much. Okay, so I think that answers the question because it says we're going to double them, and what would happen to the surface area? I just want to read that and make sure I got it right. Yeah, well, what would the surface area be multiplied by? And the answer to that is 4. It'd be 4 times as big, the surface area. All right, I got a few more questions coming here, but I'm going to pause and make a second video because I'm almost out of time.